everyone, and welcome to Yoshi 1 Kenobi's Strixhaven Stadium deck. In this game, we are going to be playing a game of Mage Tower. Well, we're going to try to win with Strixhaven Stadium's win condition. Let's read the card. So, first of all, it's a mana rock, which adds you colorless mana. Originally, when I read the card, I thought it costed you 1 colorless mana to put a point counter on it, but it's much better than that. So, it's a mana rock that whenever you tick it up, you put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. And then whenever you deal damage to an opponent with one of your creatures, you put a counter on Strixhaven Stadium. Whenever the opponent deals damage to you, then you remove a counter on the Strixhaven Stadium. It kind of displaying the back and forth of a game of Mage Tower. But then if we have 10 or more points counter on it, and we deal damage to the opponent with a creature, putting that 10 counter or more on it, then we win the game. Or the opponent loses the game, which is equivalent. So our goal is to go as wide as possible and get 10 creatures to connect with our opponent with the stadium on the battlefield. Or actually a little less, because we'll actually get to tick it up a few times on its own. So we want to get about 8 ticks from creature attacks. So what else goes well with go wide strategies? Well, there's Toski, Bearer of Secrets, which whenever a creature connects with the opponent, we get to draw a card. Kind of a similar effect, which will help us to draw our Strixhaven Stadiums. So what do we play? We're playing a pair of Merfolk Windrobbers because they're evasive creatures and they're cheap. 4 Edgewall Innkeepers because they're cheap creatures that help us to draw with a good old package of Lovestruck Beast and Brazen Borer. Lovestruck Beast is 2 creatures for the price of 1, including a big one. Can't argue with that. Brazen Borer is an evasive threat paired with removal, which goes really well with the strategy. Then we're playing 3 Skewed Swarms, because we like to go wide, and what goes wider than a creature that produces more of itself, until you flip the board. We'll play 2 copies of Casmina to scry, put fractal creatures on the battlefield to help us go wide, and to ultimate to fetch one of our Alrund's Epiphany. So we're also playing Decisive Denial, which is the removal of choice in Simic colors. And to wrap up our list, and the important things, is that we want extra turns, especially Alrund's Epiphany. Alrund's Epiphany pairs with Strixhaven Stadium like bread and butter, or chocolate and peanut butter, or whatever 2 things that you really like to eat together. Because you get to take up Stadium, which ramps mana for you to cast Epiphany. So it ramps you to cast Epiphany faster. Epiphany gets you the extra turn to tick up the Stadium again, and it gives you the 2 evasive cheap bird creatures so that you get to ping your opponent with them and put more counters on the Strixhaven Stadium. And if you can have multiple Alrund's Epiphany and a Strixhaven Stadium on the battlefield, you can pretty much win the game just outright. And then we'll play 2 discontinuities which act as extra turns in a similar way. And that's the idea of the deck. Go wide, take extra turns, win with the Stadium. Also note that I'm not playing many big creatures because I want to win with the Stadium's effect, which means that we can't actually kill our opponent with all the attacks, we just want to poke them. And so let's see this game in action, and let's see how well we get to play Mage Tower on Magic Arena using the Strixhaven Stadium. We are playing Strixhaven Stadium on MTG Arena Standard. Our opponent, Gas, is about to run out of himself. Alright, well we have a pair of Stadiums against a Yorion deck. Let's keep this. We'll open up with a classic Bell. Showing our opponent that we get to win in style. Move to combat and hit you for 1. First step towards assured victory. And then we foretell Alrund's Epiphany. Pass the turn back as the opponent Almonds of the Sea. Bark Channel Pathway enters the battlefield. Alright, and we gain access to a blue source. Let's move on to combat. Hit you for 1. Make a Lovestruck Beast. And pass the turn back. just a little too early to play the Strixhaven Stadium. Now, you definitely don't want it to get encountered. It is why we're playing this deck after all. Let's fetch a blue source. And let's make life a little harder for opponent by casting Toski, Bearer of Secrets. An attempt to draw a card using the bell that we put in play. The opponent does succeed in drawing a card using Maze Mind Tome tactics. Alright, well, first things first. Let's think about our play. Skewed Swarm with Fabled Passage quite tempting here. Let's move to combat. Attack with Toski and the 1/1 human. Going Shark Typhoons. Shark Typhoon will resolve, but we have the opportunity to Brazen Borrow here. Or do we just give up the token? I think we give up the token. Draw a card off of Toski. Then we play Skewed Swarm. Followed by Fabled Passage for blue, which will allow us to bounce that shark. And let's bounce you. The bouncer coming in with a drink. And we pass the turn back. So now we have an even, an odd, and a 4-drop, which makes it very hard for Sultai to remove. Toski stays alive. And this is when we play the stadium. Oh, go. Innkeeper, Innkeeper Stadium. Actually, I should play the stadium first. Attack with Toski, because I don't have a choice, and I want to draw the card. I do intend on playing the second Innkeeper. We score 1 for the good guys. And this is where it's tempting. Although the opponent's on 5 lands, so let's play the Innkeeper. Then pass the turn back. We'll get to score another point off of the stadium, and if the opponent taps out for something that doesn't kill us, like the Elder Gargoyle, then we'll win off of the Alrund's Epiphany. Oh, and that adds colorless mana. For some reason I thought that was costing colorless mana. It's much better than I thought. Alrund's Epiphany. Take a bonus turn. Make a couple of birds. Play the Merfolk Windrobber. Then we go, go, go. 2 goals. Yeah, you get a beast. But we score 2. 2 for the good guys. I also get a draw 2, which is non-negligible. Sure, let's play a land, because we can. Bonus turn. Activate the Strixhaven. Play the Brazen Borrower. We fight the beast. Using the Decisive Denial. And then we win the game off of the Strixhaven Stadium. The opponent sees it and concedes. The first star of the match will go to Toski for scoring so many goals and drawing us so many cards. And that's how a game of Strixhaven Stadium is supposed to be played against Sultai Ultimatum. We're playing Strixhaven Stadium on MTG Arena Standard. against Maxim Winter Sage. Our lands are yucky, but we'll keep. Actually, they're slow, not necessarily yucky. Then we'll pass the turn back. Island or forest? The eternal question. Let's pass the turn back, since that will also enter tapped. Which is sad. Skewed Swarm's just looking at these lands, thinking, why? Why are you wasting precious Fabled Passages? The answer is simple. I need mana. Unlimited mana. Alright, well, that's a lot of Alrund's Epiphanies. Let's keep Decisive Denial up, I think. We're too far from casting them. Although the opponent's creature based. Alright, well there's a land. Land which will allow us to cast the Strixhaven Stadium. Number 1. Pass the turn. You will take a beating, and the opponent's about to go much wider than we will. And with a Toski on top, mimicking our tactics. We lose 3 points. 3 points from Gryffindor. Let's score back 1 point. Alright, and now it's interesting. So you get a Skewed Storm Fabled Passage. No, I actually think we go for the kill. We go Strixhaven Stadium. Fabled Passage. For blue. And we prophesize in Alrund's Epiphany. And we pass the turn back. And by prophesize, I clearly mean foretell. That Eye Twitch, ironically, is probably going to stop us. As the opponent's drawing a gazillion cards. And cast Love Strike Bees. More tokens. Alright. So we have 7 mana opened. So we go Island. Alrund's Epiphany. No questions there. We get an extra turn. Where we go Alrund's Epiphany. No, actually we attack. Well, you have to get rid of that Eye Twitch at some point anyways. I think we got it, we just have too many turns. We're gonna get a double stadium win. Epiphany yet again! Tree counters. Oh yes, you do have Jasper Sentinel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't use the Brazen Barrer, so this will have to go through. And I'll cast another Alrund's Epiphany. And now we have the mana to balance the Jasper Sentinel, taking out a stadium, taking out the second stadium, and we double win off of Strixhaven Stadium against all odds. And that's how it's done. Just take all the turns with the birds in the sky and catch the golden snitch of Strixhaven to win the game. We're playing Strixhaven Stadium on MTG Arena Standard against Bithna, who appears to be lost. Sure, we're going first. We have Temples of Mystery to find action and put it on top of our library. That's not the action we're looking for. Timber Crown Pathway Goose to open up the match. Yeah, I think I can afford a second temple here. Toski, yes, for sure. One of our payoff cards. It's not the stadium, but it's a squirrel that goes under the stadium and actually gathers the squirrel friends to watch the game. I don't think we want to put a Skewed Swarm here. Opponent's playing Bone Crusher Giants, and that's pretty much most of my reason why. I don't want to lose Skewed Swarm without a trigger. And I did well not to. Bone Crusher Giant. We'll flash in Brazen Borer. That way we get to play Toski and apply some pressure by attacking with the Brazen Borer. The opponent can block with the Goose, or we draw a card. And when we start drawing cards is when the magic happens. Because we can decisively deny most of the instants and sorceries that our opponent will play as long as we have mana to tap. Which we don't. But we eventually will. Opponent doesn't have an attack, because Toski's on the defense for now. And we don't have an attack, but we're forced to attack. That's pointless, my friend. Alright, we'll play the Fabled Passage. Should have played the Skewed Swarm first. That was a horrible mistake. Actually, I should have played the island, keeping the Skewed Swarm. So I could double Skewed Swarms a couple of times next turn. That's pretty bad, I'll admit. Toski will attack, especially with 3 decisive denials. The Skewed Swarm game plan should be the main plan now. We just counter whatever our opponent plays that tries to deal with Skewed Swarm. Unless it's a Bone Crusher Giant. Goldspan Dragon will do. Can't counter that. Now you're gonna have tons of mana. We will chump. Actually, no, we will not chump. I want to draw cards. I want to draw a Lovestruck Beast that can pit the fight against that Goldspan Dragon. Fabled Passage. Excellent. We are redeemed. Getting a Skewed Swarm. Getting 2 Skewed Swarms. Isn't this skewed? I know, it's been done before. Many, many times. Alright, draw 3. Ping our opponent. Alright, well, I'm getting a ton of decisive denials. And a stadium. Stadium is not going to come into play. Maybe we just keep up the decisive denials. I think we have to keep up the decisive denials for now. Second copy of Goldspan Dragon. Hitting us with everything, making treasure tokens. He'll chum the Bone Crusher Giant. And take 8 in the air. Well, since we have a ton of those, Toski will fight the goose. I didn't say it was efficient. I just want to draw an extra card or two. Actually, an extra turn card. My turn. Like Alrund's Epiphany, that's just perfect. Because then we get to do this. Fabled Passage. Crack Fabled Passage. Alrund's Epiphany. And that's when the opponent resigns. Decisive Denial. I don't know what to say. We had 4 Decisive Denials, but we didn't have the mana up for it. We're gonna draw a ton of cards and lose the game. I'm sure we're gonna win with our stadium. But no, we will lose to the Gold Span Dragons. Ah, so close! If only the opponent didn't have these treasure tokens. And the Decisive Denial. It's a good card, we should probably be playing more. We're playing Strixhaven Stadium on MTG Arena Standard against Martin. We have stadiums, we're going first, and we have the Innkeeper. He's going to be making a lot of money from that sporting event that is about to enter the battlefield. So let's get him in, get some tenants, make some money. Hit you for 1. Yeah, let's foretell the Epiphany, and pass a turn back. Oh, is it spells? Alright. That Innkeeper is no more. Fabled Passage is a good pickup. As we go, Strixhaven Stadium, and pass the turn back. When it does nothing, we'll take up. We have the opportunity here to go Sworm. I was just thinking whether we could afford a second Strixhaven Stadium or not. Sworm triggers. Gonna be fetching blue. Sworm triggers. And we get to cast Petty Theft if we want to. Now as we pass a turn back and the opponent has some instant of their slave. The Magma Opus. Prismari command. Destroying our stadium. How dare you, opponent? That is unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. You will pay for that. Yeah, I do really want that Decisive Denial. Opponent's severely mana starved, but we'll take advantage to rattle the crowd and take over the game. Opponent kills our stadium again. That's a bummer. And that prevents us from actually casting Alrund's Epiphany. I'll poke you with Beast, with these little insects. They don't hurt very hard, but have a bunch of those, and suddenly you are threatening. Galazette. Well, it immediately bounce back to your hand. Play Brazen Borer. Skewed Swarm. Not what we're looking for. We'll play it anyways. See, 3 mana 1/1. And we gotta play 3 mana 1/1s when we have them. Opponent can recast Galazette. Now things start to get dicey. This time we get a counter. Enough Prismari commands. I do want to land. So I get to cast these Alrund's Epiphany. Pass the turn back. Although the opponent's saying the same thing. Galazette enters the battlefield with 2 lands for instance. Opponent wants to kill the Skewed Swarm and takes care of it. Fabled Passage will be lethal. All the Alrund's Epiphanies will. Alrund's Epiphany. Pass the turn back to us. And we'll win the game by combat. Going through all the Prismari commands that kept on destroying our stadiums. I mean, come on, this is worse than bad weather. We are playing Strixhaven Stadium on MTG Arena Standard against Taliesin Ravenwing. It's a really cool name. Against rogues or cycling? Or cycling rogues? Or maybe there's a new recycling deck that I'm unaware of. Actually, mono white, mono black. There's tons of possibilities when Lurrus is involved. Those possibilities will get down to only a few cases after that is cracked. I do like Cosmina, but I need lands. There's just this thing about mana that makes it important in this game. Alright. Ruin Crab. We hit a stadium. Not the type of mana we were looking for. Let's go in Keeper. And pass the turn back. The opponent's likely to kill the Innkeeper, but that means less pressures or fewer crabs. Giving us the time to set up our mana and our Strixhaven stadiums. Back to your opponent. Swamp Mill. Really would have liked those. Well, more the basic than the Fabled Passage. Another tap land is not what we're looking for. At least it would be better than this. A non-land card. Well, the opponent's not applying too much pressure. Just a bit of mill on our library. Drowning the Lovestruck Beast. Opponent's afraid of aggro. One of mine, draw 2. Like swamp milling us. Didn't want that Skewed Swarm anyways. Alright, well, we'll foretell the Alrund's Epiphany. Never know when that could come in handy. No, it comes in handy pretty much whenever you get to cast it. Birds and turns, birds and turns. We'll be drawing a land anytime now. Yes! Go Stadium. Pass the turn back. If the opponent keeps on being that aggressive, we might just be able to win off of the stadium ticks. And one attack. We do need to get an attack in. Although sometime soon our opponent's going to be drawing more crabs or more rogues. Then things won't be as smooth. Although at this rate our opponent does need more crabs. It's just going to get milled naturally. And the opponent has a bunch of... okay. I thought there was going to be mono black cards in our opponent's hand. Alright, well, we'll go with Stadium number 2. Because it's a mana rock. And why not? Comes another ruined crab. Mills us for 6. This is an awkward game. Well, let's bounce crab. Let's see what you got. We let that resolve. Okay. Fabled Passage. Excellent. We will crack that immediately. For a green source of my choosing. I'll play another Strixhaven Stadium. Because we can. And now we will pass the turn back, holding Decisive Denial as well as Brazen Borrower. Yeah, Thieves Guild Enforcer. That's what I was looking for. How many of those do you have? Soaring Thought Thief. Here they come. Ruin Crab comes in to ruin the party. Mills us. Down 11 cards. Make that 9 off of the attack. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take the damage. Down to 14, which isn't really relevant. The problem is we're losing some counters on our stadiums. And that is the real true shame. I'll flash in a Brazen Bar. Ooh, there was no counter. Well, let's go for the Alrund's Epiphany. It resolves! After being stuck on 2 lands for an eternity, we're actually going to win this game. Using a pair of Alrund's Epiphany in our Strixhaven Stadiums. And that's how you win with Strixhaven Stadiums. Not with 1 stadium, not with 2 stadiums, but with 3 Strixhaven Stadiums. Take that, rogues. Strixhaven Stadium victory! I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. It won't cost you any mana, and it greatly helps to support this channel and keep the awesome videos coming. Until next time, may the fun be with you.